What to ask a seller of a business when you're buying it. So the aims of this step in the process are really four things. The first thing is not most important to find information. That is important. But the most important one is building rapport. The second one is positioning yourself as an expert pair of hands, safe pair of hands rather. The third one is evaluating the business, and that is important. And you're going to ask six questions to do that. And then the next one is setting up the next step. So keeping the process moving. So let's deal with this. First of all, rapport. Why is that so important? Well, really, you're about to ask a lot of the seller potentially. First of all, you're going to ask them in your meeting with them to reveal quite a lot about themselves and about their business. And that's their baby. And they could be quite defensive depending on their experience as a business. Business can be very tough at times and competitors can get pretty nasty. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to ask at the end of this meeting, assuming it goes well for you and assuming the buyer's willing, the seller rather of the business is willing to reveal more financial information, which is even more sensitive information. And then in in the future, shortly after getting the financial information, if you feel the business is worth buying, you're going to make them an offer. And they may or may not like that offer, and you're going to need to negotiate. And goodwill is going to be really, really, really important in all of those settings. The further you go down the path, indeed, the more important it is going to be to have some rapport on both sides. So it's not adversarial, you against them, but you're kind of there is a tension. Your interests aren't entirely aligned, but they're you're more or less working from the same side of the table. You're trying to come across that way, right? So it's really important. Yes, however, you are there to evaluate the business. So you want to make sure that it is the right business to judge how good a business it is, and therefore, is it actually still worth you buying? Does it fit within your buy criteria? Or is it actually not what you thought it was? And if it does, if it does fit, how valuable is it? How good quality of business is it? And should you still buy it? And if so, what, roughly working towards what kind of level of quality and what sort of value you think it should be. And then you want to step the next steps up. So assuming that you have a decent meeting, you're probably from rough filtering before this step four was filter. You probably know already that you're serious enough about the business that you should evaluate the financials before you can even really evaluate the business. So really what you're there to do is just set up the next stage, which is to get the NDA signed and get the financials over. And then at that point, you can make a really thorough appraisal of should I put an offer in or not.